Hello everyone and welcome to IronFlight, the first installment in a series of Mint 10 games set in the Rustlands. My name is Mark Thomas, I'm a co-designer on IronFlight, and today I'll be walking you through a basic playthrough of the game. So let's get started. What you have before you is the standard setup of a game as explained in the rules. The playmat is entirely optional, although it does help to categorize some of the components. IronFlight can be played on any flat surface. Starting at the far right here, you have your main chits and cubes that you'll be using to track certain things in the game. I've chosen Wingnut as my starting character. He's a pilot that has the ability to use either dog tags or gambler's dice. I've chosen dog tags, which allowed me to manipulate the runway a little bit. You can get more into that in the rules. We have our wanted poster here, and then some meters and speedometers and such to track various elements of the game. And then there's 3 decks you'll be utilizing, mainly the terrain deck, but the playing parts and advanced actions will have effects on your gameplay. And then last but not least, you're trying to repair here your IronFlight, or the IronFlight, which is rather your plane. And you'll be exploring this section around you, trying to avoid raiders, watching the severity of the rust storm that you're tracking here, and ultimately trying to repair this plane and take off, which you can obviously see here on the runway. So let's dive into a standard game so you can see what to experience. I've already set up this deck according to the rules, so there's some randomization involved. But first, I'm going to be starting my day. Like I said, phase 1 day, and I'm on day 0 currently. So I'm going to start by exploring the area around. Here's a scrap heap. Great. There's another scrap heap, which produces immediately. Wow, a lot of scrap heaps. I would love, there we go, that's what I'm looking for. I'd love to keep pressing and try to find an advanced action. There we go. New part located, that's great. So I can choose between either finding a plane part or finding an advanced action. The plane part, obviously, I'm going to need a tail and 2 wings to take off. So that's a bit of a later game pressing matter. I'm going to choose an advanced action, which typically gives you the ability to manipulate this game board, the exploration phase, in some way. So let's see what I get here. Oh great, I got the Raider radar. So I can immediately return a revealed Raider card, which hasn't happened yet, to the terrain deck for the cost of 1 scrap. And I shuffle that card back in. So the Raider doesn't necessarily go away in its patrol, but I'm able to escape its immediate grasp. And I can only use it once per day. So I'm going to pause there. That's a pretty good first day of exploration, or rather day 0 of exploration. So I'm now going to collect. I'm going to collect my 2 scrap, my 4 scrap, and note here that I only have 6 inventory slots in my tail. So if I had more than 6 inventory out here in terms of scrap or oil, I wouldn't be able to collect all those. I'd have to choose some of them. So I'm going to pause and I'm going to build an oil rig, which costs 3 scrap. And I'll stick that here on the oil sands. There's a little +2 there showing it's level 1. Level 2 is +3. I can upgrade that if I wanted to at a later point. And that helps to defend against some of the Raiders' attacks as well. But for now, I'll do it with 1, and I'll keep this in case I want to use the Raider radar. So that was the dusk cycle in terms of using my resources, collecting and using my resources. Oil could also be used to remove some scrap from the plane's engines, but I obviously don't have any oil at the moment. So now we're going to go into the dark, which is our nighttime cycle. So the rust storm kicks up all of the rust. All of the area around here is scrambled unless you have an oil rig built. The rustometer or rustometer is going to go up by 1, which is going to push the rust in our engines up towards 3. And then now we're back at the top of the day. It's morning. And before we start exploring, the oil wells are going to produce. And so I now have 2 there. So I'm on day 1, like I said. I currently have 3 bounty, but 0 on the wanted meter. Let's dive in. Oh, there we go, our first raiders. So now we're going to be number 1 on the wanted meter. It's going to add 1 bounty to my bounty poster here. So I'm currently at 4. If I hit 5, I'm going to have to shuffle an additional raider card into the deck. So they're on patrol for me even more so. But right now, I could technically spend this and return that raider, but I'm fine with where we're at currently. If more raiders start coming, I may use that, but for now I'm gonna hold off. Okay, oil sands. I don't have any scrap, so I'm gonna, oh, there we go. I'm gonna just take that as well. Actually, no, I'm going to shuffle that back in for the cost of my Raider radar, because if I go up in one bounty, then I have a whole nother Raider out there looking for me, and I really don't want that to happen. Very likely this could be another Raider, and it is, so I delayed the inevitable. So I now have 5 on my wanted poster, so I'm going to add in another Raider card into the deck, which means they're even more aggressively looking for me. I'd really like to find some scrap, so I'm going to keep exploring. There we go, that's nice. 2 scrap. I really want a plane part as well. Okay, up in bounty. Again, if I hit 10, I'm in trouble. And once you get into the danger zone, it starts adding 2 bounty as opposed to 1. Let's keep pressing on. Oil sands, I really need 1 more scrap in order to either upgrade that well or build a second. I'm gonna press on. Oh, okay, so I got a plane part. Not ideal, but I'll take it. And I could technically choose a different advanced action, but I like the Raider radar. I'm gonna keep that. So let's see what plane part I found. Oh great, I got a thick hole. So I can negate the first 2 runway hazards during takeoff. And I didn't elaborate on that much during the intro here, but there's going to be negative values here as I'm trying to take off, and this corresponds with how much bounty you have. So the more you encounter Raiders, the harder it is going to be to take off. But luckily, my thick hole allows me to bust through these first 2, and I can negate those 2 negative values. So that's great. Now I just need to find 2 wings. I need to remove the rust from my engine, and I can take off. And I have about 5 days left to do that. So obviously I can't explore anymore. The day's over, so I'm going to start to collect. No hard choices here. I only have 4 resources out on the board. And I'm going to, I can't unfortunately upgrade the oil rig. I can't build a new one because it costs 3. But what I can do is I can spend these to oil, and I can fire my engine twice or turn my engine twice over, which reduces the rust down. You're kind of playing with a constant ticking time bomb there, whereas the rust storm buries you every night or clogs your engines. You have to clean them periodically. And if you're ever at 6 and more rust comes, you're buried indefinitely. But the beauty of this game is it's rogue-lite, in that while Wingnut may not have been successful, there's 3 other characters you can play, and they will come across your wreckage and be able to salvage any of your plane that you've repaired prior. Although I'll add a caveat to that. Certain parts are destroyed if you try to take off or are buried in the rust, but we'll get to that at a later point. So the rust storm comes, mixes everything up, except for the one where I have a rig. Shuffle these back in. I'm gonna go up in 1 day, and it adds 1 rust to my plane. So far, this is a pretty good adventure. All right, so that is the end of dark, end of night. The morning has come. I'm going to produce 2 oil. And let's start exploring. Great, I need scrap. I'm going to keep going. Oh, there's Raiders. Okay, I'm going to immediately spend my Raider radar and shuffle that back in. So I don't go up in bounty, luckily, but it is still here in this deck. So they didn't go away, they're still out there, I just ran away. Okay, that's interesting. If I collect that scrap, I can build another oil well, or I can upgrade that one. I want to go a little bit further. Scrap, great. See, now I'm already in trouble because I have 6 resources out there and only 6 to hold. I'm going to pause there. I don't want to hit any more Raiders, so I'm going to collect this. Collect these, and then I'll collect 1 of the scraps. That puts me at a total of 6. This, unfortunately, is discarded. And now I'm going to, I think I'm going to build a second oil well, and I'll do that one right there. I could upgrade this one. Like I said earlier, it produces more oil and makes it foolproof should I hit 6 on the wanted meter. They come through, the Raiders come through and clean shop. But for now, I'm feeling good. I have three sections left on the wanted meter, and I'm feeling good. So I'll also spend 1 to reduce my rust in my engines by 1, and I'll save these 2 scrap, I think, for next turn. So let's go ahead and shuffle these back in. I'm gonna go up one on the rustometer. So we're on day 3. I'm gonna again add a rust to my plane here. I'm gonna shuffle these up. Oops. And we are good to go. Let's start exploring. Raiders. All right, I'm gonna immediately use this Raider radar. This is coming in quite handy this game. This will go right back in, but I no longer have access to that this turn. Scrap heap. Oh, you know what? I forgot to populate oil. Let me do that. My mistake. All right, see, I'm at an interesting point. I need more plane parts, so I need to keep pressing on, but I already have enough resources. I gotta find plane parts. I need to keep going. Raiders had to happen. So I'm at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I hit another Raiders, then I have to add another patrol into the deck, which makes me nervous. I need to find, ugh. No, that's bad. Okay, up, add more bounty. I gotta add this last Raiders into the deck. Do I keep going on? I'm gonna stop there because it's a little too risky. If I hit 6 here, the entire board is cleared. I would lose both of those, and I don't want to do that. Both of those wells. I'm gonna collect that. So I'll get 4 scrap and 2 oil, and then unfortunately I have to forfeit these 2, or these 3. So be it. I'm going to spend these 2 to get rid of the rust on my engines, and then I'm going to spend these 3 to upgrade this one to a level 2. So it now produces 3 oil in the morning. The rust storm comes, wipes out the area around me. Let's shuffle these back in. I'm quite wanted, so there's a lot of raiders in here looking for me. And unfortunately, I don't know how many there are because of we had to discard something early in the game in order to ruin the perfect knowledge. So let me go up. I'm on day 4. I'm going to add 2 rests to the plane. The rust storm is getting worse. And here we go. So we're top of the day. I'm going to populate my oil. I really need to find some plane parts. Otherwise, I can't take off raiders. There it is. Okay, so now I hit max wanted. Oh, you know what? No. Hold on. Before I do that, I'm going to shuffle this back in. I'm going to spend my last scrap, and hopefully that's able to save me. Although there's a lot of raiders in here. I feel lucky on this spot. I don't know why. I feel lucky on this spot. Maybe I should just avoid that top right spot. Need a plane part. There we go. That's what I needed. Let's see what we got. All right, so here's a basic right wing. It allows me to take off, but it's destroyed in the case of a wreck. So all I need is a left wing. I'm going to stop there because at this point, I have all the resources I need available. The only thing I can get is a raider encounter. And so I'm going to pause there. I'll collect these 3. I'll collect these 3. And then I will discard these 2. I'm going to upgrade I'm going to upgrade these this oil well to produce 3. I'm going to spend these 2 oils to remove the rust from my engines. I'm a little nervous because I no longer have a scrap to get rid of the raiders, but so be it. Night comes, shuffles the area around me. I'm on day 5. I'm going to add 2 rust to my plane. And here we go. I have 2 days left. I need to find that left wing. If I happen to come across another nose or right wing, I could always swap them out, but I can't take off unless I find that wing. All right, so I'm at the top of the day. Let's produce the oil. 3 and 3. If I hit a single raiders, I'm gonna have to downgrade those 2, and I'll lose all those resources. So let's see. All right, scrap heap. There it is, raiders. Okay, it was bound to happen. So I go up 2 bounty. I unfortunately am going to lose all of this hard-earned progress. This is going to be downgraded to level 1. This is going to be downgraded to level 1. If it was a level 1, it would be wiped out entirely. This is coming down to the wire. All right, so I'm now on day 6. I'm going to add 2 rust. I'm at 4. Let me populate the oil. 1, 2, 1, 2. And now I really need to find a plane part. Let's explore. Oh wait, I have to reset this back to 3. Sorry about that. And I'm good. Scrap heap. Ooh, scrap heap. Add 2 there. I need that tail. I need that left. Oh goodness. I got it. And I got it. Wing flaps. During escape, stalls are considered successes. I'll get into that during the escape, which we're actually going to be able to do, surprisingly. It's rare to be able to take off on the first playthrough, but we're doing well right now. So I'm going to stop there, and I'll start to collect. I'm going to collect all of the oil that I can, because that's going to help me on the takeoff. I might as well fill with a single scrap for the points at the end. And I'm going to spend 4 oil to remove the rust from my engines, and I can officially take off. Wow, in the nick of time. So currently, we're going to transition to phase 2 now, which is this takeoff section. I'm going to count up my bounty. I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So I have 12 bounty. So let me flip these over. So I have -2 there. I have -1. I have -1. And -1. Luckily, my thick hole allows me to negate these 2. So I can just remove those, set those aside. So I'm not going to have minuses on those rolls, but I will on these 2. Basic right wing doesn't give me any special abilities, but it allows me to take off, which is nice. And then wing flaps. So let me do a brief description of what this will look like. We're going to transition this to the speedometer now. And ultimately what I'm trying to do is reach 150 miles per hour, which is slot 6 on the speedometer here. And so if I am, for example, at 25 miles per hour, which is where you start, and I'm in position 1, I need to roll a 2 or higher in order to speed up. If I roll a 1, it's considered a stall, meaning I'm going the same speed and I progress forward. You're trying to hit max speed by the time you hit the end of this cliff here. You still have a chance midair in the cliff to punch it and try to get out of here alive, but if you fail at any point over the cliff, you're unfortunately out of luck. Your plane crashes and another lonely robot will come find your wreckage. But for now, I'm trying to reach max speed here. So for this first roll in slot 1, I'm trying to get a 2 or higher. I also have 1 single oil with me, and I can use that anytime prior to a roll to add +1 to my result. But right now I can't fail because I have wing flaps, which a stall is a success. There it is. So a stall is a success, which means I go up in speed and I progress 1. Now I need a 3 or higher. It was a 1. So I actually failed that. So I'm going to go down in speed and I progress 1 forward. I have -1 on this roll, so I need a 2 or higher. Oh my goodness, it was a 1. All right, so I stall there. I fail there. So I have a -1 on this roll. I still need a 2 or higher. My goodness, what terrible rolls. I stay there. So at this point, we're running out of options. It was a 5. So I go up 1. I progress forward 1. Wow, what a playthrough for a video, huh? I failed there, so I go down 1. This is gonna be a miracle. So I need a 2 or higher. I got it, so I speed up. I am now mid-air off the cliff and I'm in a free fall. I need to succeed on the next 1, 2, 3, 4 rolls in order to win. Otherwise, I crash and burn. I need a 3, actually I need a 2 or higher because a stall is a success. There we go, okay. Now I need a 3 or higher. 3, wow. Okay, I need a 4 or higher. Oh my goodness. All right, I'm gonna spend my oil, which means I need a 4 or higher to win. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. All right, I crash and burn. This goes upside down. And unfortunately, in the crash, this right wing is destroyed. But fear not, because while Wingnut was not successful, I have option to use Rosie, and there's 2 other pilots that you can use in there that will have their own starting specials as well as bounty as well. And so that's a basic playthrough of IronFlight. There's also a scoring section, so I could do a quick score right now to see what I just generated there on that playthrough, but really it's meant to be upon a success. And it takes into account how many oil wells you have, how much bounty you have, how many plane parts, there's victory points on those plane parts. And ultimately that is a basic playthrough of IronFlight. And so if you have any questions, feel free to send us an email, but we look forward to getting this out to you all, and hope you enjoy it. Thank you.